or Japanese tanbo. It's 18 inches long. This one is 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches in diameter. It's made out of oak. This is a self-defense stick you can make yourself. I also make these, but if you need to defend yourself with a stick, I'm going to show you some stick fighting techniques with the short stick, the Okinawan Japanese tanbo, for self-defense. There are two ways that you're going to hold this heavy piece of oak. Now all stick fighting techniques, principles are based around the simple idea that it is a force multiplier, that it becomes an extension, so you get reach advantage. He might be coming at you with some type of a weapon. His hand might be multiple attackers. This is going to take what you have naturally, and it's going to amplify that. So fighting with sticks is just a force multiplier. You're the force that multiplies it when you put this in your hand. First way I'm going to show you how to hold it is with the short side coming out of your thumb. In this position, you can quickly block by taking the open hand, sticking it on the back of the hand that's holding your tanbo or your short stick. You can block up, you can block down, you can block out to the side, you can block in, out, you can block out to the other side. And then as they're swinging something at you, let it hit the stick instead of letting it hit or slice or slash your skin. So that's the first thing you can see, is you can cover yourself, you can get behind it, you can block with it in this position. The second thing you can see here is that by throwing a jabbing punch right to his face for self-defense, you can smash his nose into his face, his teeth down his throat. Geoengineering, good to see you. How are you? Smashing this way. This is a simple straight punch. Notice that you're going to turn your shoulders and hips to get more power, more speed, and more distance. You're going to hit him and knock him back when you move him back. As a boxer, you can jab with that front hand. You throw that foot in to get more acceleration, more power. Force multiplier, short stick in your hand. Self-defense strikes using your tanbo, Japanese Okinawan tanbo for self-defense. Same thing, you're just getting all of that, and all the force is concentrated in this little part here. Jeffrey asked, what kind of weapon is this? This is the 18-inch stick. The Okinawan Japanese style martial art call this the tanbo, T-A-N-B-O, if you're looking for more information on it. Yeah, it's just a wooden dowel. It's a 36-inch dowel that you can get at any do-it-yourself store, hardware store. It's normally 36 inches. You buy it, you cut it in half, you sand it really well. Hey, Doug, it's good to show you. Doug's asking about the two-handed strike. We'll do that in a second. I sand these down, then I soak it in oil. This one's still a little oily, so you wanna wipe the oil off. I let them sit for a couple days. I make these and I send these to you. If you wanna buy one of mine, there's a link in the description below, or you make your own for less than 10 bucks. You make your own. I think the sticks now are about 12 bucks, but you get two. So about $6 each. A little bit of sandpaper, make it really nice and smooth. Soak it in butcher block, mineral oil. It's just a food grade mineral oil that you put on a butcher block or a cutting board, and you soak it for a couple days, wipe all that oil off. You have a homemade self-defense, a Japanese Okinawan tanbo, or just a short stick. You can call it a short stick, call it a dowel rod. You can, if someone asks you what it is, you can tell them it's a massage tool. You can tell them it's for making tortillas or whatever you want. It's just a simple, yeah, Doug says butcher block oil works great on these. So, and it's good for your skin. Don't use heavy mineral oil or linseed oil. We used to use boiled linseed oil, but a lot of those oils they add metals to now, and you don't want that in your skin. But a butcher block oil is gonna be just as good. It makes it heavy, so when you strike for self-defense, it hits a lot harder. So we're holding it like this. We talked about you can block with it with two hands, one hand back here to support. Let his weapon or his fist run into that, break his knuckles on that wood instead of hitting your soft tissue. You have this straight punch, turning through the shoulders and hips to accelerate and get more power. Then you have a hooking punch, bringing this into his jaw, into his temple, into his neck, maybe into the ribs, between the ribs or those intercostal muscles. It's very tender, smashing, breaking his ribs into his lungs. He can't breathe. He's coughing up blood for self-defense. Yeah, teakwood oil, geoengineering says. Teakwood oil is real good. So this basic swinging motion, you're using your whole arm, this long lever. Again, the stick in your hand is just a force multiplier, taking what you have naturally and then increasing the speed, the power, precision, accuracy, focus of that strike into that small surface area. It'll break his jaw for self-defense. It'll hit his head, knock him out. So you have this hooking punch. You can also do an uppercut motion, coming up under his chin, smashing his teeth. Maybe his tongue sticking out there, break his tongue, flips off. Hey, Charlie, it's good to see you. So coming up, using your short stick like this, close in fighting, very close. So straight, hook, uppercut, and then you can use the long side across the side of his face or into his ribs. Maybe he's reaching with that hand with a knife, smashing, that hurt, smashing his hand as you come across. And what you're doing is you're just turning, just like you're doing this. As you come through, again, force multiplier using your small stick, you're turning through the shoulders and hips, generating maximum amounts of power, and then you're multiplying it with your force multiplier, this tanbo coming through in this motion. You can also come down over the top, striking this way. Yeah, Doug says you can rake that shaft down his face. As he's in close to you, you can even stick the tip into the nerves in his face, going straight in. Doug uses the dongbong. Koreans use something called a dongbong. Has a rope, goes around your thumb, a stick that's about this long. Whip it out, but you can use this. The diameter here, Marshall, is 1.5 inches. Into the nerves in his face, into the nerves in the upper part of his chest, into the nerves just in, pushing down. And again, you can do that with your thumb, but now you have a hard piece of oak smashing into his face. So it becomes a force multiplier. So you have thrust, hook, uppercut, smashing with the long side. Yeah, Jew in engineering says you can decorate it with a Dremel or another tool. You can carve it with your pocket knife. You make it, you can put your initials on it. You can put a fancy design if you're very artistic. And you just carry with you, carry it with you most places you go. Bringing it across this way, bringing it up, like you're doing that uppercut again, but using the long side, smashing up under the chin, into the hand. He's holding on to you, he won't let go, smashing up this way, thrusting straight forward into his nose, his teeth, his throat, his solar plexus. Just know that the throat would be a fatal strike for self-defense. You're just trying to protect your life, stop him from taking yours. So these are all with the short side. The benefit here is if he grabs, it's hard for him to pull that out of your hands. Mike Miller, thank you so much for joining as a member. King of Hockey asked, would it help to sharpen it to a point? You could, and you would get a little bit more, you're not gonna sharpen enough to make penetration, unless you put like a piece of metal on there, but then you're really changing in my mind, the gray man option or the gray man function of this. In other words, you can carry this in a bag, especially if you were to decorate a little bit, maybe stain it dark, and someone says, what is that stick? And you say, well, I use that to roll out my tortillas. I use it's a food roller. What do we call that? A rolling pin. Or you practice taiko in the park. It's your taiko drumstick. I don't know, what else you put in the comment section, what other reasons you might be carrying it. You use it to break the muscle adhesions in the muscles. So it's a massage rolling stick. You rub your partner's back with it. Good evening, G. Carlton, it's good to see you. Holding it this way makes it hard for him to pull it out of your hand. Now, these are some of the ways that you strike with the short side. You can also slide it up so that the long side is coming out of your thumb. Now, you're still gonna have some coming out of the pinky side, and that's to strike with. And that's also to catch and trap with. And maybe if he's got a blade, you know how to, like you've done some Filipino martial arts, Kali Salat, Arnis, Eskrima, you can strip the knife or the stick out of his hand. But it's very effective for a reverse strike, striking the guy behind you, hitting him in the groin or in the solar plexus or in that thin fascia muscle between the belly button and the privates, smashing here, turning your whole body. Again, the stick is a force multiplier, it takes what you have, accelerating that force, increasing it, concentrating all into a small piece right here and hitting him extremely hard using this. Yeah, Doug says it's the same dimension as a police baton with the 18 inches. And so it's something that we see is tested over and over and over again. We know it works, but it's an option because it is, oh, hey, Philly Fathead, good to see you, Superfy. It is it's just a stick, right? It's the Okinawan Japanese tanbo. And if you learn how to use it correctly, you hit the guy behind you. Like I said, it's great for multiple attackers. Smack this guy, smack that guy, smash this guy in the groin. Step in using two hands. From this position, you now have greater control of your stick and much more force because you've closed the circuit by putting two hands on it, stepping in, using it like a baton or a bayonet. With two hands, smashing through, coming right into his face, coming down on the other side. So you have 1, 2, all these strikes. You can lift somebody off the ground simply by swinging through your hips and your shoulders and sticking that into his solar plexus, and he's on top of you, and you stick that in really fast into his solar plexus. You're gonna knock, you might even crush the cartilage that's in there, put him on the ground. You can bring it up under his chin, really knock him back, smash him into the next week for self-defense. You can swing this way, you can swing the whole body, hit the guy behind you. You can now use it like an Irish shillelagh, Irish stick fighting. Bring it to this hand, twisting, this basic twisting motion, coming forward, turning here, and you can switch from hand to hand, depending on where you need to hit him. Notice that all these techniques, you're turning through your shoulders and hips to get maximum reach and maximum power. So you have these basic techniques, down, smashing on top of the head. Think about the basic angles that we use for Filipino martial arts, the Kalis, Salats, Escrimas, Arnis. Coming through here, Tochi Perez, coming through, down at the angles. You have the angles coming up, smashing this way. The nice thing about this size stick is that you can also add this motion here to accelerate that strike. So you're hitting a lot harder. This you'll also see in the Korean style using the donbon. Donbon just means short stick. Danbo just means short stick. You have the tanbo, you have the hanbo, which is the 36 inches. You have the jo, which is your 54, and then you have your bo, which is your 6-foot stick. This is the shortest of the, well, this really shortest is the yawara, the pocket stick. But this is the second in the list of short stick fighting. So think of your angle striking down, accelerate it by twisting that wrist into the strike. You can walk around practicing this all day long, get more power in your strikes. Always follow through, hit them like you mean it for self-defense. Angles down, angles up, horizontal strikes, striking the head, striking the body, striking down to the knees. Always fighting from behind your stick, keep it between you and him. And then vertical strikes. Think about his hand, smashing, breaking the bones, knocking the knife out of his hand. Maybe he's choking on, he's holding on to somebody, won't let him go. Bring this down, you're gonna break that arm, hit the joint. Joints break easier than the bones in the arms. Smash through that joint. Full speed, full power. If you need two hands, smashing, boxing his ears, bringing it down over the top. Yeah, Doug says, you learn to snap strikes, especially when it comes to hitting the joints. That'll really work, it's really effective. What else do we have? We have these basic angles, using it in this position here. We talked about using it Irish stick fighting style, coming through. Irish stick fighting, you can also, you have these blocks, you have that striking motion here, coming down on top, all of the angles. It's just a simple way to take what you have naturally, your arms, long levers, twisting through your shoulders and hips, all those big core muscles, accelerating the power with a little step, bam. And then you've got that stick coming all the way, always through the center line of the body. Never from out here. If he comes in, you're gonna wrap your arm, you're gonna miss him, but always from the shoulders, fighting from the shoulders. Marshall asks, what are the ways to carry this in a resting position? You can carry this in a pocket, depending on what kind of pants you wear, You can carry it Ninja Turtle style, like that. Being mostly facetious, but you could, I guess. A lot of backpacks have like extra pockets in the back that you could slide that into, and that could be in there. You could make your own. A lot of hoodies. A lot of hoodies, big oversized hoodies, will have a pocket here. You could carry it in your pocket. Why don't you put in the comment section? Actually, you guys have better ideas than I do most of the time. The comment section. How would you carry this? Geoengineering asks how you become a member. It's available in certain areas, other areas it might not be, but it should say join. The word join, Join. If you click that, it gives you options to join as a member. The point of training with this size stick is not that you'll always have the stick with you. Now, I went to the very first game of spring training for the Marlins and the Cardinals yesterday at a local stadium. Down here is where all the spring training happens. Get to see all the players. They have a huge roster and they're bringing these guys out. It's a fun game. Brought my kids. Knew most of the cops there. Felt safe there. Had so many. They had a great group of cops. They're all paying attention. Nobody on their phone. I love these guys in that city. Yeah, sorry, James. Thanks for trying though. I appreciate that. There's no way to join in England. So we go into the baseball diamond, the baseball stadium, and you go through a metal detector, and they check your bags, and they wand you if you have any metal go off, like my hip will go off, beep, beep, and they come through, it's a metal hip. Point is, I can't carry this, can't carry my blade, and they wouldn't let me take this in. I didn't try, but I just assumed that I wouldn't be able to take this in. We didn't, it's hot down here, so we're not carrying lots of bags anyway. We have balls to get signed and baseball hats to get signed by the players. It's one of the best things about spring training. But once you get into the stadium, there are sticks this size everywhere. I saw them everywhere. I walked around, and in my mind, I'm always looking where are the closest exits, where are the exits that if everybody's running to this exit and they're going to start trampling each other and get stuck, where are the other exits I can get my family out? Where would I go to get cover? Where would I go to get concealment if there's no cover? Cover is when you stand behind like a thick wall and the bullets can't come through. Concealment's where there's nothing stopping the bullets, but they can't see you. So that's better than nothing. So I'm looking for cover, concealment, I'm looking for exits. I'm looking for self-defense tools. Now that I'm stripped bare because I gotta walk through, all I have is this, and I've got these, and I've got the meanness in me when it comes to protecting my family like you have. But I also want to look for what can I pick up, put in my hands to give me a force multiplier, to give me more than I have what the guy gave me naturally. He gave us this creative mind and the ability to use tools to defend ourselves with. So what can I find? And all over, from the small baseball bats to the big baseball bats, those were there, of course, right? The baseball thing. We got a program with all the players in it. Nice quality program because you got to pay for them now. They don't give them to you free anymore. But if you roll that up, same size. It's a program about this big, made out of paper, but it's a magazine. You roll it real tight, hold it in your hand. We've got a self-defense tool. Yeah, you guys are starting to add some great comments on how you might carry this with you. Keep that going. Put those in the comment section too, if you would. There were spatulas. There were lots of places making hot dogs and Italian sausages, and they've got, onions and peppers grilling. And the guys are all using these big metal spatulas and big metal spoons about this big. Reach over, grab one of those if you had to defend yourself if everything's going crazy. What else do we see? Oh, all kinds of cleaning stuff. There were mops, brooms, there were hand scrubbers, all over the place. There was an area where they had been working on something, patching some wall up. There were all kinds of painter's tools. There were short sticks, long sticks. The point is, if you learn how to, Flip says, what about a knife attacker? If you have a knife attacker, and this is all you have, you're in trouble, right? I mean, you're in trouble no matter what. He's got a knife, you're in big trouble. And at the same time, if you pick something up and put it between you and him, whether it's a big stick or a short stick, as we saw at the knife attack last year, Australia, in the shop, there was a big shopping mall. And there was one guy, the attacker's coming up the escalator. He's got his big kitchen knives out, stabbing everybody. Yeah, geoengineering says run. If you can run, run. If you can't run and there's nowhere to run, or your body doesn't let you run, and that's the reality for some of us, right? He picked up a bollard. Bollard is just one of those poles that usually has one of those, cords that come out that stop you from going certain places, like you see in movie theaters or malls. But he picked up a big metal bollard and held it between him and the guy with the knife. He just pushed him back, and the guy with the knife left because he couldn't get to him to slash him. And so it does work. If you can put some stick between you and him. The broom's much longer than a knife. This is longer than a knife. Now, it's not the best in the world. I'd rather have one of these to stop a guy who's coming at me with a knife. But if I don't have that, if you don't have that, because we went to the ball game and he snuck in his knife because he's a criminal or a terrorist or whatever, and we're there and we can pick something up even if it's a rolled magazine, that's better than nothing. That's, blocking, holding it like this, letting him slash here instead of here, that's better, and then smashing him in the face. So you're able to, you're learning to keep your distance, paying attention so that you can draw your firearm. Also learn how to retain your firearm so that if he's coming in, you can step in and drive that elbow into his face as you draw the weapon up from the body, and then the hand comes down here, and then you smash into his face with your gun. You hold it like a C, and you can still fire around if he gets close. We can go over that. I do a lot of weapon retention, but that's the basic idea. Yeah, Doug says keep a pocket full of sand. We live in sandy Florida. You can pick up sand from even in like yesterday, there was rocks and sand everywhere. Pick something up, throw it in his face. There are vendors every 5 feet frying things and burning, cooking things on hot grills. Pick up a spoonful of, hot food that just came off with a whole bunch of grease. Throw that in his face. Pick up the grease. They're making French fries or doing all that stuff. There are other ways you can defend yourself. If it's the stick, you can strike the hand that's coming at you with the knife, or reach through, follow through, smack him in the head. And with a heavy stick like this, you might be able to knock him out, knock him unconscious. You might not be able to do that with that magazine, but you may be able to knock the hand away and then step in and smash it through his face. Christian says chili mixed with baking powder. You could put in a little bag, and then someone says, "What's that?" And you're like, "That's for my lunch. I make my own taco meat, and that's my taco meat." And then throw that in his face. But the point is, you use your creative mind. What God gave us, He gave us the right to self-defense. And He gave us the creativity and problem solving and free will and everything else that we need to defend ourselves if we apply it. If we just do one of these, and pray until it's over and hope it goes away. Sometimes, as the Quakers say, pray and move your feet. As the Okinawans say, pray and crack them across the brain with your tanbo for self-defense. I don't know if they actually said that, but that's what I would say if I had the tanbo in my hand and I needed it. The point is, do something. Fight back, defend yourself. It's your human right. Don't wait for someone to come save you because it might be too late. 1 minute might be too late. 30 seconds might be too late. 2 seconds might be too late. Even with like a little 3-inch blade, right? He can stick it in you and lacerate all your organs within a few seconds. So, geoengineering says, you can be here and then just up in between his legs. That could stop somebody and put him on the ground. Yeah, Doug says, amen. Turn on your self-defense mode. Install a switch inside your brain. I call it the indignity switch. You go from fear and anger and shock to indignation. Like, instead of, oh my God, I'm gonna die, to how dare you try to take the freedom from me, the life from me, the health from me. How dare you come after my kids and my wife and my grandkids. I will defend us. I'm gonna defend myself. I'm gonna defend my family. And then you switch that in your head, and then you find a solution, something to strike, something to hit. Yeah, G. Carlton says a can of WD-40 and a lighter. Yeah, you might not be able to get that through security, but you might find that in like they literally had at this ball game yesterday, a whole bunch of workman's tools, and it may have been in one of the bags. There may have been a can of WD-40, even without the lighter. That's the solvent that's in that WD-40 is gonna burn the eyes a little bit. It's gonna slow them down at least. It's gonna make him slippery. Maybe that's all he needs, knock him on the ground. But defend yourself, do something. This is the Okinawan Tanbo. We were going over how to fight with sticks, short stick for self-defense. If you want one that I make, it's in the description below. That helps me pay the bills. Or save your money, make your own. You can take an old broomstick, cut it down to 18 inches. If you want to measure it yourself, we usually go by the elbow to the middle finger. That's about the length. So yours can be shorter, longer. There's no rule that says how long it has to be. I like a thicker diameter, I have bigger hands. If you don't have as big of a hand, go with 1 inch. Try to find a hard wood. Sand it really well, soak it in oil for 2 days. Take some good rags and then heat it up with your hand as you put the finishing touch on it. Wipe away all the excess oil so it's not too oily. And then practice over and over in your garage, in the backyard, in the hallway, in the bedroom. And then if you can't take this with you wherever you go, you'll have the stick fighting skill with short sticks with the Tanbo wherever you go. That will go with you. And you can roll up a magazine and like Jason Bourne, you can dispatch the bad guy. But let me know in the comment section how you would carry this and any other comments that you have about this or any other self-defense stick, fighting with sticks. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much.